So I wanted to talk about movies a little bit more. I picked out 5 of my favorite movies to go over today. Now, picking favorites is hard. This isn't my definitive top 5 movie list, but these are 5 movies that stood out to me when I was picking movies off my shelf. These aren't in any order, but these are 5 movies that I do tend to like a little bit more than others. Number 1, Kill Bill, Volume 1. This is Volume 1 and 2, but today we're specifically talking about Volume 1. The most original choice, I know. But I think that everybody who enjoys movies has their favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And for me, I think it's Kill Bill Volume 1. I could say it's also Django Unchained or Inglourious Bastards or Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, whatever. But I think when it comes down to it, Kill Bill Volume 1 is the one I think about the most. Visually, I think this is just an amazing movie. There's so many scenes that are just ingrained in my memory. Like, it's just visually amazing. It's just super pleasant to look at, even though most of the time it's just a gory mess. But I think that the over-the-top gruesome fighting is just at its peak with this movie. Quentin Tarantino's style always has that over-the-top gory fight, usually in most of his movies, but I think Kill Bill Volume 1 is at its peak. I definitely think that Tarantino brought his all when he made this movie, and you can tell with just how creative it is, the storytelling, the directing, how it switches from live action to animation or from color to black and white. This is just such a fun movie. It's honestly one of my favorites of all time. Numero dos, Spider-Man, Into the Spiderverse. Switching directions here. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, hands down, best Spider-Man movie. Sorry, Tobey Maguire fans. Sorry, Tom Holland fans. This is the best one. Right here. The story is perfect. This is the perfect Spider-Man story. Peter B. Parker, amazing Spider-Man. Miles Morales, perfect Spider-Man. They did such a good job. I didn't care about Miles Morales before this movie. I didn't watch the show or comics, anything. I didn't even cross my radar. And then this movie came out and kind of blew me away. So I am a Miles Morales fan. I played the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Loved it. Thought it was awesome. Think the movie's a lot better, but I think that it's just a perfect movie. The animation is great. The story, everything, it just all fits together so well. It's creative. What else can I even say about it? Just, if you haven't watched it, watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Anyway, one thing most of these movies have in common is that these are movies that I can just throw on randomly as even just like background movies, or if I'm sitting there late at night and I want to watch a movie, one of these movies is probably my go-to movie to throw on. I'm super excited for the sequels to Into the Spider-Verse. I hope that they continue with how great it is. I hope they can keep that momentum going into the next ones. I'm curious to see where the story goes. Seems like instead of more Spider-Man coming into Miles Morales' world, he's going to be going into theirs. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Plus, this inspired the Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, there's no way it didn't. There's no way it didn't. They pretty much, like, straight ripped it and gripped it. And, that turned out pretty good too. But I think this one was better. Fight me. Number 3, A Silent Voice. While we're on the topic of animation, why not some Japanese animation? This movie is heartbreaking, but it's very good. If you haven't seen it, this is probably one of the most heavy movies you will ever watch. It deals with depression, it deals with bullying, and it deals with unaliving, but it's very good. I think it's beautiful. Like, the animation is top notch. Most of these animated movies, like Your Name, Weathering with You, A Silent Voice, whatever, one thing they all have in common is that they just have really pretty animation to look at. And this one is no exception, but this one is also paired with a really touching story and really compelling characters, and it's just a good movie. I think every single time I watch that movie, I tear up. Not gonna lie. It's heartbreaking, it's romantic, it's funny, it's just a perfect movie. It's a 10 out of 10. Like, if we're putting numbers on them, 10 out of 10. Since it's here, 8 out of 10. 10 out of 10. An 11 out of 10. And then going into my number 4 favorite film, The Dark Knight. This is the trilogy, but I'm specifically talking about The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker. One of my favorite movies of all time. I know, another super original choice, but I love it. Like, what can I even say? What can I even say about The Dark Knight that hasn't already been said before? It's the best Batman film, hands down. The Batman was really good, but after watching it a second time, the Batman does not compare to The Dark Knight. Something about The Dark Knight makes it rewatchable over and over and over. I don't think I could rewatch The Batman over and over and over. The Dark Knight is just so captivating with the characters, specifically the Joker. Like, Heath Ledger carries this movie so hard, and I don't know if it would be as great as it is without him, but we are very lucky to have gotten him. And definitely one of my favorite characters, definitely one of my favorite movies. I don't think there's anything I can even say to do this movie justice. Yeah, it's got its flaws, but to me, 12 out of 10. Perfect movie. Numbers don't matter. Again, like most of these movies, I can watch this movie over and over and over again. The Dark Knight has the best opening to a movie ever, in my opinion. I can't think of any other movie that opens up harder than The Dark Knight. Like, The Dark Knight Rises tried, and I think it came short. Another thing that I want to point out is that this is one of the few movies where Batman loses. Batman lost hard. The Joker won. The Joker turned Gotham's White Knight Harvey Dent against him. And yeah, it's just it's just very good. So the last one on this list is probably my favorite movie of all time, La La Land. That one's probably a little unexpected. This is another movie that's very it's very touching. It's got a very bittersweet story. Damien Chazelle is very good at this storytelling where, you know, his character is somebody who's willing to do anything to chase his dreams, and, you know, he shows the different effects that it has on the people that they love. You know, Whiplash tells a very similar story about a drummer who's willing to do whatever it takes to be the best, and, you know, he gives up on relationships to follow that dream. Now, La La Land is a little bit different. It's about a couple who have huge dreams of making it big, and, you know, Ryan Gosling's character wants to be a jazz musician who opens up his own jazz bar, and Emma Stone's character is an actress who wants to be a big actress. And it shows these two on their journey and struggling with chasing their dreams and making it work, and, you know, how it takes a toll on each other's relationship, and it shows the sacrifices that they have to make their dreams come true. And I think that's just it's a really bittersweet story. Damien Chazelle, I think, nails it with the last 10 minutes of his movies every time. Not to say that the whole movie isn't great, but the last 10 minutes of La La Land is really something special. It's not something you see very often in romance movies. There's a happy ending, but it might not be the happy ending that you are expecting. Visually, all these movies that I went over are movies that I can watch over and over and over, movies that have really good visuals, and movies that have really good story and characters, which I guess that's any good movie, but I think these 5 specifically stand out to me. La La Land the most. The way that Damien Chazelle uses color to determine where characters are at, and just like all of the sets are just beautiful, and the music, the dancing, the choreography, and everything, it all just works so well. It's just a whole package bundled up together. You know, the chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone is insane. Like, if you told me that those two were together in real life, I'd believe you. They're not, by the way. They're not. Now, I know I've said this about like every single movie, but La La Land is definitely a perfect movie in my eyes. It does get some hate in the musical world, but I don't know anything about the musical world. I'm not even like a huge musical fan, but something about La La Land stuck with me. I think of all these movies, with the exception of The Dark Knight, I've probably watched La La Land the most. Anyway, that was 5 of my favorite movies that I happen to own. If you want me to make a part 2, you know, let me know and I'll make a part 2, because I got more movies that I want to talk about. I'm probably just going to make a part 2 anyway, but at least this way I get some comment engagement. You know, just comment anything down there. I don't care. Comment anything. I'll reply with a smiley face. Anyway, yeah, let me know your 5 favorite movies, or if you agree with this list or whatever. I don't know. Okay, bye.
Looking down, I see you below. When I get too close, the winds will blow. I keep on falling faster. I'm losing all that matters. Right now, you're all I'm after. I hope you're my next chapter. I hope you're my next chapter.